Hi, Purpose Partner. Welcome to another episode of Rise to Your Purpose, a personal and spiritual development podcast for female entrepreneurs with a mission. We are your hosts, Brandie and Natalie.
We are founders of Victorious Entrepreneurs Rising, where we guide women to build profitable businesses online through diversifying your income, using kingdom principles in marketing, and operating in a spirit of rest so that you can create kingdom impact.
After this episode, be sure to join our Purpose Partner Facebook community and get your copy of our Rise to Your Purpose devotional so we can continue to serve you as we partner together in our faith and business. Let's dive into today's episode. Morning. Hey, friends and purpose partners. Welcome to another episode of Rise to Your Purpose. I am your host, Brandie Thomas, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about my journey to going off social media for Lent and what I've experienced so far being about a week in. So I caveat, I am about 10 days late on this. So due to illness in our family and with myself, we hadn't actually been to church for a while, and like the streaming didn't really work out, or I was like doing kids' church. So this past Sunday, so it would have been February for this of you, depending on when you're listening, February 25th, my husband and I, we finally were able to go to church and like drop our son off at kids' church, and we could actually just like be present in the service. And our pastor was talking about Lent and like the meaning behind it, and just different ways you can experience Lent. And so we were kind of talking about like, what do we want to give up, or how do we want to lean into this season of Lent for the last 30 days. And kind of like going off of my phone more or going off social media, like that just kept coming up for me. I had shut off my phone for just a night, and a few weeks ago, and like the freedom, like I don't know, just like in my body, I just felt less tense. I felt more joy. And I think I'm coming out of a season of a lot of just like crisis mode, or like felt like I was always in fight or flight. If you follow me on social media, you know that back in April of 2023, we bought an 1.5 acre property fixer-upper, and we have been living in a renovation that was told to us it would be a 6 to 8 week project, that turned into basically 10 months. So we're thinking, we can live in the basement while the upstairs gets gutted and renovated, and we'll be in our house kind of more settled by the end of the summer, early fall. And here we are, end of February, and like we have maybe two minor little like a light switch needs switched out, and the backsplash for the kitchen needs put up. And we still have cabinet doors that have to be ordered because that was a whole saga with our cabinets being too big and we had to cut them down. And so now we have to order custom door sizes for the resizing of the cabinets that were too big. So it's needless to say, it's been a pruning season. It's been a season of a lot of just unmet expectations, a lot of grief that I didn't realize I would experience or carry. And I think a lot of it did kind of go unprocessed, because literally the day we closed on our old house, which that house was my dream home, and if I could have moved that home to this property, this would have been like our dream property. We wanted more acreage. We moved from the suburbs, from a subdivision, into the country about 20 minutes from where we used to live. And for the legacy and for the future that we want to give to our son and just to our community. So we knew this was a property for us. And to be honest, like I didn't even want to look at this property. And I was actually really mad when I stepped on the property and I felt the Holy Spirit come over me and this like peace wash over me, saying like, this is your home. And I was like, no, this is not. Because because I just knew it was going to be hard. I knew that in order to get the home to the house into the home we wanted for our future, it was not going to be easy. There was going to be a lot of frustration. There was going to be a lot of, it was going to turn into like a money pit, and there was just going to be a lot. And that has happened. Um, and so learning, walking on this journey with God, sometimes being frustrated with God, but always being tethered to Him as my anchor, um, has definitely been an interesting journey. But and I've also been sick. So last September I got COVID and have literally had upper respiratory issues of coughing nonstop since September. We were able finally to get our vents cleaned a couple weeks ago, and that has tremendously helped. But I'm still like dealing with some symptoms, and so going through all of that with a 3-year-old, now 4-year-old, potty training him. My husband working night shifts, so we're on completely different schedules. Um, Business having a lean season last summer, everything that could go wrong, going wrong, like Murphy's Law happening, and feeling like I was alone. We moved out to this acre and a half of property. Like the neighbors are wonderful, but like we kind of just keep to ourselves for the most part. And um, so like kind of like in the season of loneliness, carrying like really heavy stuff. And it I've come out of that season now of just like feeling my body unhealthy and stressed and like carrying all of this stuff. And even though I talk about operating from a place of rest and surrendering to receive, and it was like daily sometimes going into that posture. Sometimes my flesh rebelled against that and just wanted to be mad and in victim mode. But at the end of the day, I was constantly trying to be like, okay, what are 5 good things that happened today? Trying to stay in that state of rest, even though chaos seemed to be continuously erupting around me, and feeling like I am just this boat being tossed by the winds and the waves, and just keeping my eyes on Jesus. And it was hard to have that daily battle sometimes of this flesh versus the spirit, knowing in my spirit there's peace if I just keep my eyes on Jesus, but also like having those flesh moments of like, I don't know if I can physically get out of bed today. And but God is so good and He's so faithful. And I love the story of Moses. When the battle is raging, Moses just had to keep his arms up, but he couldn't do it alone. He needed Aaron and Hur. And I just felt like throughout this past year, God has sent me Aaron and Hers. And it's been so beautiful to see him come and provide for me and protect me and love me and comfort me in ways that I could never comprehend or imagine. And so that's when I talk about coming into that posture of surrender to receive. That's the beauty of that. Because when you come into that posture of surrender, when you're like, God, I just want to keep my eyes on you. I don't know what to do anymore. Like I just need you, Jesus. And you're giving him the opportunity to give you the more rest, the more peace, the more love, the more comfort, the more provision, but doing it without boxing him in and doing it in a way that allows him to love you in his unique way and provide for you and protect you in his unique way. It is powerful. And I've continued to see that over and over, that when I come into that posture of surrender to receive, God shows up and he provides. And the way that he's provided for our family, the way he's protected us from different things, the way he's used what the enemy meant to kill, steal, and destroy myself and my family to raise up this kingdom warrior inside of me and to just bring healing into the world through even though like I may be dealing with the same thing that I'm praying for the healing of somebody else to be relieved from. It's just been a powerful experience. And so I say all that to just share that if you are going through a storm right now, to one, just keep your eyes on Jesus. When we look at the story in where Peter was walking on water, right? Like he had faith. Faith was not his problem. And he was able to look at Jesus and walk on the water. But when he started to focus on his worldly circumstances, his flesh, right? He was looking at the wind and the waves. That's when he started to sink. And so it didn't matter that there was a storm raging. You can still be a wave walker in that storm. But the key is Jesus. The key is keeping your eyes on Jesus. And every time like something came up and I just reminded myself, look back at Jesus' eyes, just look at Jesus. And I'm getting kind of emotional talking about this. Um, I just felt this peace come over me. And I just knew it was going to be okay and it was all going to be worth it. And that there was so much oppression and I think attacks in every sense of the word because this, I call our property Victorious Acres because there's going to be kingdom victory here. There's going to be baptisms in our pool that I didn't want that we now have. And that was a whole saga. Um, and you can follow all of that on Instagram at Victorious Acres is my handle on Instagram. And there's going to be Bible studies in our home, and my son's going to grow up here and be equipped and empowered to go out and break generational chains and be a kingdom warrior in this home. And so I know the enemy did not want this home to succeed. But here I am sitting in the promise. I'm sitting in my office that is finally done after working out of bathrooms, cars, our basements, by the, outside on the patio, just like working in the most random places and feeling just so unsettled, but continuing to just persevere and put that next foot forward. Um, Sitting in the promise right now, recording this podcast in my beautiful home. That's, phase one is done. Like we're not done by any means. Like we're literally going to have all the plumbing replaced, new water heater, new water softener next week. And there's more projects to come, but like the majority of like this is actually livable now. It's just beautiful to see that restoration, that redemption story, and be sitting in it. And so I say all of that to be like, I've been asking God, like, okay, I feel like I'm coming out of this season of just like oppression and battle and fighting and enduring. And I feel like I'm coming into this new season of just like healing and restoration and peace. And I was just like, God, I'm kind of confused. Like, I don't know what season I'm walking into. I don't want to miss the season. I felt like God wanted me to be in a season of rest last summer. And I was, if you're a Mean Girls fan, trying to make fetch happen. And it was like everything I did just didn't have favor on it. It was just like so hard. And I was trying to do stuff in my business and do stuff in um, the house. And I think God is like, I just need you to be present for your family. I will provide for you financially. And I was trying to like do all of these things for my business. And it didn't matter. Like nothing worked. And so I felt like I missed that season. And I did the Bible study of Elijah that Priscilla Shire offers. And as I'm reading that, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like God wanted me to sit by.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We want to take a moment and extend to you a special invite to partner with us with Girl Power Alliance. Inside of Girl Power Alliance, we are so focused on helping you step into your kingdom identity and becoming the woman that God designed you to be. That's what the entire membership is built around. Christ-centered personal and professional development. So you have over 300 different modules. You have live calls and certifications that you can plug into, and you have a rich opportunity to build an income by sharing those things with other people. This is a completely digital platform and membership opportunity. So you don't have to worry about shipping product or providing things for people. We do all of that for you. You just get to focus on the fun of promoting this and sharing the opportunity. And if you're looking to start a business, you get to do this for less than $500 here, and your monthly overhead is less than $200 a month. It's only $159 a month to be a member with us, and yet the ability to grow an income here has no limit to it. And it's based only on how big your vision can be. So we are so proud of that. We are trying to bring kingdom believers back into the room. We have a vision of creating more financially free believers and kingdom millionaires and billionaires in the world, and bringing believers back into leadership, people who love Jesus. And so if you want to be in that room, and make sure you connect with us, join our movement by clicking on the link in the show notes, and we can't wait to welcome you into our family. You know, in the first part of Elijah's story, right, God takes him to this little wadi, this little, I think it's called Cherith, and it's this little like river, and the ravens feed him, and he is provided for just by the ravens coming in, which ravens are to the Jewish community are not something that like it's completely out of character. You're not supposed to associate with ravens, like but for God to use the least of these, right, to provide for Elijah is significant. And then he had the stream when there's a famine literally happening around him. And he just was supposed to rest. And I felt like God was like, rest, just rest. Let me provide. Trust me, trust me. And I was just like, I need to do this. And, I'm going to do the result. I'm going to do the work, you do the results. But I feel like God was like, you're not supposed to work this hard. Like, just rest, focus on the priorities, and steward the things I've given to you right now, and everything else will come together. And I was trying to do good things that maybe weren't God things. And so I'm aware that I'm entering into this new season, and I'm like, God, I don't want to miss the season that I'm in. I don't want to force it to be a different season when I'm really in this, whatever the season is. So I was seeking him on like, what season am I going into? How do you want me to operate in this season? What type of behavior, posture, do I need to be in? Is it a time of just like just enjoy this home, enjoy the peace, enjoy the hedge of protection with you and your family, and just be restored. Let me just give you, walk you beside quiet waters and lay you down in green pastures. And I was like, God, is this the season I'm coming into where things are just going to be provided for me? And I don't need to, it's not that I'm going to stop doing things, but it's like being aware of what are the good things versus God things, and sit in the God thing and actually enjoy it and receive it fully, and not go ahead to the next thing, because that's what the world wants us to do, right? We achieve a goal and then, okay, great, move on. What's next? And so, again, coming back to the whole social media thing, that like I'd shut off my phone, and I just kept feeling like I just need to be present, and that I need to sit in this blessing. And it was kind of funny. It was his own podcast, ladies listening. So if you caught the episode with called The Rooted Wife with Shayla, and it was one my sister actually hosted. And Shayla was talking about how when she moved into a farmhouse, her husband's like a rodeo guy, and they moved into this farmhouse, and she just went off social media for 30 days. And it was like instantly when she said that, my body just felt the Holy Spirit. Like, I got emotional. I just felt this peace wash over me. And it was like confirmation of what I'd kind of been thinking about doing anyway. And there was like so much joy and excitement and freedom that came with that decision of like, all right, that was Sunday. That was Monday at 1:30. And literally that morning I was like talking about like, hey, I'm so excited. We're done with the house. Let's start talking about like maybe gardening and chickens and homesteading, sourdough bread on my Victorious Acres Instagram handle. And then I'm like, JK, I'm gonna ghost you all for 30 days and not post anything. So that morning I had no intention of going off social media. And then it was like I was listening to that podcast episode that just came out on the 26th of February 2024 and was going to work out at the gym and heard that episode. And I was just like, all right. So I spent the rest of the afternoon like getting my affairs in order, getting my systems, making sure that get my Be the Change workshop. If you go to our victoriousentrepreneursrising.com website, like you can have our receive that workshop and get into our email system, because that's really where I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up in our email and just doing 2 emails a week instead of 1 a week, so that you can kind of stay up to date on what God is just doing over these next 30 days. And then also doing 2 more podcasts a month to reach, connect with you here on this Rise to Your Purpose podcast. So for those of you who are listening who are maybe not in the email system, go ahead and go to victoriousentrepreneursrising.com. You'll see the pop-up, and this is our Be the Change workshop. And this is such a powerful workshop where I actually talk about how to partner with God and the Holy Spirit so that you can operate in a place of rest, how to heal from the Spirit or heal in the Spirit and come into that posture of surrender to receive, and then how to build your life and business in synergy so that you're saying yes to your best. You're giving your best yes to God and building your life and business around your priorities and not getting burnout. And then we wrap it up with how to be a radiant leader in all areas of your life. So I encourage you to go if you want to continue to follow along with my story and my journey over the next 30 days and just be more involved with what we're doing here at Victorious Entrepreneurs Rising. Like that's how you can not only get the free workshop, but also start getting our emails and our text updates for when we like drop a podcast. So so here I am now in my first week of the 30 days of going off social media. And I've been able to actually increase my business. So I signed up a new Go Power Alliance ambassador partner, and I've been so productive, and it's just felt so good. Like for me, my clarity, I feel like, is back. I know exactly what I need to do. I feel like I'm working more efficiently, and there's joy in it again. Whereas I've just felt like so overwhelmed and kind of, coming out of that season of just crisis after crisis after crisis, like it literally felt like a series of unfortunate events for the past 11 months. And to like continuously be in that state of, oh, I just turned around and something else bad happened or unfortunate happened. And having to just continuously like, all right, let's figure this out. Let's move on. We got to keep going, to now come into a place of like, I feel like I can take a deep breath. And it was just like getting my body back into like homeostasis, if you will, and getting out of that stress and fight or flight mode and coming into this season of peace. And I feel like I can fully be present in the home and with my family because I'm not scrolling. And, honestly, not, it's so crazy to like say this, but like, even though I'm still doing my business, I'm still in Messenger, I'm still on Telegram, like I'm still doing my team training, I'm still coaching at Radiant Leadership Academy, but just like the thought of not having to create or produce content daily and have to like, I'm still going to continue to take pictures and stuff. And, I still want to, what's the word, like, track my life or, I can't think of the word, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, I still want to take pictures of what's going on in my life and share that with people and just keep that for myself as well. But just like, I was like almost like mental capacity, like my mental capacity load was just like, you're done. Like, you have no more load. Like, you just need to stop. Like, and or you're gonna crash and burn. And so just taking that one thing off where I'm not scrolling anymore, I'm not engaging in content, I'm not writing content, I'm not producing anything, has just cleared up so much creativity. Like, I am excited, and honestly, I kind of wanted to get away from social media and do more email marketing and podcasting and use that more to reach my audience and connect with them. So I don't know if this is God just being like, all right, we're just gonna dive in. Now's the time. Like, this is something that's been on your heart anyway. But it's just like, I don't know, there's so much joy and freedom right now. And it just felt like distractions were gone, the overwhelm, the comparison, the like, what am I gonna do? How do I like, I don't have to fight the algorithm anymore. And so I just feel so free and like honestly like alive. And I think it comes back to obedience. Like, obedience brings true success and true results. When we are obedient to God and we lay down the things that we probably should have been laying down a long time ago, but we are holding on to them out of fear or lack. And instead of coming in that posture of surrender, which if we're in a posture of surrender, it doesn't mean God's going to take it away. It just means like we don't have to hold on to it and suffocate it. It means now it can blossom and grow, and we can receive the favor and the blessing that God has and the increase that He has for us, by being in that posture of our hands out versus like clenched fist. So this whole podcast really is just to kind of give you an update on my life, my business, and kind of expectations as I show up on the podcast. You know, we're still going to interview people, that instead of just having 2 podcasts a month, we're going to do 4 a month, and 2 of them are going to be me sharing my journey. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys tag along. And I can't, I'm already seeing the blessing from being obedient, from just surrendering. And I can tell you that the receiving is good. What I'm receiving is so, so good. And I'm excited to continue this. And who knows, maybe it'll go further than the 30 days, after Easter. We shall see. But I would love for you to continue to connect with us and do the text thing too, because you can text me. That our texting, when you actually fill out the form to put your email in, and if you put your number in as well, you'll get like our auto generated that's like, hey, welcome. You can opt out of that too, but any other texts are gonna like literally you'll be texting me personally, which is pretty cool. And I just love that. I feel like that's a more high touch way to connect with you on a more personal level. So I'm excited to really get to engage with my audience, with you all in a more intimate way. And I think it's going to produce a lot of good fruit for both of us. So with that, ladies, I thank you so much for joining me today. If this podcast has been a blessing to you, like I would love for you to just subscribe, download, leave us a review, because that's just going to help us share this message, share what God is doing in the marketplace, with more women who want to build a business with Christ at the center and do it with biblical strategies and principles. So we just thank you so much for listening, and we hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We would love to hear from you. So please share your takeaways by tagging @LiveVictorious over on Instagram and leave a review.
This will help us get more visibility and reach more women like you for the kingdom. We appreciate you and are praying for you as you shine your light in the business world and rise to your purpose.